What? Hello, you lovelies, and welcome to my Deadpool and Wolverine non-spoiler review. Not a single spoiler in this review. I'm going to be so careful, I promise you. If you haven't seen the movie yet, this is a safe space. I want you to go in as blind as Al.
Want to build a snowman?
Yes! But I can't. I want you to have the best time with all the surprises, and there are so many surprises. So I would honestly recommend, if you haven't seen it yet, get off the internet. Watch this. I promise it's safe. But the internet is not going to be a safe place after the reviews drop today. So this review, completely non-spoiler, this is the review that I restarted my solo page for. I got back on YouTube solo to give you this review. If you're new to this page, I do comic book news, comic book reviews, as well as movie news and movie reviews. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, please do hit that subscription bell. Lots of Deadpool stuff coming right after this weekend, because I'm not a monster. I'm going to wait and give my full spoiler review, and then next week I'm going to do a full Easter egg breakdown. There were so many Easter eggs I saw in this movie, and there's so much to talk about. So at least 2 more Deadpool and Wolverine videos, maybe more. So hit that subscription bell. Let's dive into it without any further ado. Non-spoiler thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine.
Let's go!
Let's go. This movie is what I've waited 24 years for. This is the culmination of so much of my life and so much that I care about. This movie isn't a comic book movie in the way that some of the greats like Winter Soldier and Infinity War are, in that they're incredible adaptations of comic book characters to make an incredible movie. This is an incredible adaptation in the way that it feels like you're actually reading a comic. This is much more, to me, akin to your Spider-Verse or the big airport sequence in Civil War, but for the entirety of the film. This feels like going into the experience of reading a comic. And I think that's because we've gotten here as a film-going society and as a pop culture society. I think we had to get to this point. We couldn't have started the X-Men in bright costumes. It wouldn't have done well. It wouldn't have translated to that audience.
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
But we've gotten to the point where a Wolverine suit can be yellow and blue, and that's just a microcosm to the macro of how comic-y this is. There's so much in this film that every act has a different moment that is so insanely comic book that I'm shocked that it exists in live action. And it feels like what you experience when you're directing the spaces between the panels in a comic. So that, to me, is much more in the Venn diagram of comic than movie. And I love Winter Soldier, I love Iron Man, I love Infinity War. Those I would put more in the Venn diagram as more like movies that have comic book characters in them. So this is really unique in that it is so purely comic book. And that made me so happy. And I realized that it is the culmination of 24 years of my life. The first X-Men movie changed my life. The first X-Men movie made me realize it was possible that these books I loved could be made into movies. And a huge part of that was Hugh Jackman. And to see him back in the most Wolverine way. I love Logan. I think Logan's incredible. It's a Western that has Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in it, and I think that's its strength. This feels like a comic book Wolverine translated into live action. And Hugh Jackman is just as good at playing that Wolverine as he is at playing Logan in a Western film. And that is the versatility of Hugh Jackman as an actor. Ryan Reynolds, in the same way, is plucked from the comic books. Ryan Reynolds was born to be Deadpool. He just had to get the suit later in life. He was given comic books on the set of Blade and basically told, you're playing Hannibal King like this guy, you might like this guy. And in that moment, I feel like the multiverses collided and 2 things became one. And finally, Ryan Reynolds was on this long journey to bring this movie to us, because this is a comic book come to life. Hit that subscription bell, because I'm going to drop a spoiler review that is going to be diving into the pure madness of each of those 3 acts and what insane comic things they were able to accomplish. But in this non-spoiler review, I do want to say that this is what a love letter to comics in the medium of movie is. This is a love letter to the comic characters in the medium of movies is, but it's also a love letter to us, the viewer. This movie loves comic book movie fans. This movie is what comic book movie fans wanted from the beginning of Spider-Man and X-Men and Blade, and evolved into 2008's Iron Man and the Spider-Man films that rebirthed Sony, and where we are now. All of that is leading to something this comic-y. So it knows that, and it thanks you while you're watching it. It feels like the movie itself loves comic book fans. So while you're watching it, it is something that I don't think if you don't like comic book movies, you'll get anything new out of. In fact, you might have the most problems with this. And I'm really curious, as of filming this, I don't know how the Rotten Tomatoes score is. I don't know how other people thought of it, except the people I saw it with, but this won't be for people that don't like comic book movies, maybe to the nth. This is the least approachable of, it's not really my genre. It is so much for us. It's a love letter for us. That said, I think it's going to make so much money because there's so many people that have spent 20 years loving these movies, and it's maybe the most rewatchable movie I've ever seen. I am immediately upset that I'm going to Comic-Con right after I film this video, and I won't get to see it again until Sunday. I'm immediately upset that I know I laughed over a ton of jokes, and I have no idea what I missed because I was in full belly laugh missing moments. There are so many sequences that I laughed through other things that this movie's going to be brand new to me the next time I see it. And I also love that it is so impactful that I can replay the movie in my head, remembering all the jokes that I did hear over my own laughter, but I can remember the sequences and how they made me feel and what they brought me to. And the opening credits is the only way you could possibly keep up with the opening credits of the first Deadpool movie. The opening credits of the first Deadpool movie are some of the most ingenious things I've ever seen. When the credits started in Deadpool 1, I knew in real time my life was different. I had waited for that movie for so long. I've loved Deadpool for so long. Deadpool is one of those characters that only comic fans knew. He was like an inside joke. He was just for us. When those opening credits started, I knew they had done it. Those credits showed me everything there was to say about the team behind it, about the sense of humor, about the heart of the character. Deadpool works because of how sad and broken he is and how violent he is like an outlet. It's like a diaphragm spasm. Laughing and crying are super similar, and Deadpool gets that. He is comedy and tragedy as one character. Those opening credits and everything that led to them showed me those filmmakers knew this character. I've always known Ryan Reynolds knows the character. Like I said, he was born Deadpool. He just had to get the suit. Those opening credits were that impactful to me. These opening credits are just as insane, and it elevates on some of the playfulness of that one, and it works so well for Deadpool and Wolverine in a way I cannot describe. It plays with continuity, it plays with canon, it plays with fun pop culture. It does all the things Deadpool is. Deadpool is the internet come to life, and the opening credits get all of that. And then the closing credits, there's a post-credit scene, and it's amazing, and the credits themselves have a scene that nearly made me cry. I won't give anything else away except that know that the credits were, oh my god, impactful, and there's a great post-credit scene. So that's beginning to end non-spoiler of the sheer emotional journey I went through. I do want to say that I was, if you follow me, if you're not new to this page, I was right about so many theories, but I was wrong about so many theories, and some of the things I was so exactly right about, I'm so happy that they see the character so similarly that I do. And some of the things I was so wrong about, I'm actually really glad they took a left instead of a right. I'm actually really glad at some of the choices they made because I got to be surprised and I got to be so enveloped in the story. They played with canon and lore and the mythology so well. The amount this team loves the Marvel movies and the Fox movies is insurmountable. And the amount that this movie knows where to poke and prod at the current state of everything pop culture, of everything comic movie, of everything MCU and everything Fox is also insurmountable. This movie is made by people like me. It feels like there was one of me sitting in every writing session going like, or like, like it's so pitch perfect tonally to nerds. It's community nerdy. Like this movie is the closest thing I've seen to, I feel like they're with us, not Big Bang Theory punching down. It's with us making jokes about and for nerds. We're in the writer's room. So I gotta give some love there. I also want to say that the cameos that everyone's talking about are incredible. That's why I think you should be off the internet. You should not watch anything else. I'm worried that you're even here if you haven't seen it yet. But the cameos are more like supporting roles. Sure, there are cameos, but there are some truly incredible supporting roles, and I'm not going to give them away. But those supporting roles gave me everything I wanted when I described what I wanted out of the heart of Deadpool and what I wanted out of this film. So if you've seen my thoughts on where this movie might go, if you've seen my hopes for what this movie is, the heart they gave these characters, these supporting characters, are able to give me such beautiful moments that mean so much to me as someone who's spent 2 decades of their life doing this personally and professionally. I turned my love of comics and my love of comic book movies into my job. And they gave me these amazing moments, these amazing nods. And again, spoiler review, I'm going to talk about all of them that I can dive into within however long I talk on that review, but it is so special. I cannot believe it exists. It is in some ways a love letter, and it is in some ways a diss track. It is in some ways a passionate, this is what we've built, and in other ways a scathing, this is where things didn't go right, all while celebrating, this is why we're making this. It is in no way not ever in love with what it's doing. It's a movie about passion, and it's so passionate. It's a movie about friendship that is so clearly made by friends. It is a movie about celebrating a cinematic universe that is aware that it's playing in a cinematic universe when we are in this cinematic universe, and how the perception of this cinematic universe is. I laughed. I nearly cried. I love the brutality. I love the intensity, but most of all, I love the heart and the passion. This movie, again, made by and for comic book fans, made by and for Deadpool and Wolverine fans. This movie is as much a Wolverine movie as it is a Deadpool movie, and this movie is the most comic Wolverine I've seen, and this movie is the culmination of everything Ryan Reynolds has built with Deadpool, and this movie is for Deadpool and Wolverine fans, as well as Deadpool and Wolverine fans. And Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are clearly amongst that, and Shawn Levy is clearly amongst that. I love what Shawn Levy built with his directing style that I don't want to get into without spoiling stuff. I love what the writers did by making these characters work in one of my favorite buddy comedies of all time. And outside of comic stuff, I'm a Lethal Weapon guy. I'm a 48 Hours guy. I'm a buddy cop guy. Like, that's one of my favorite genres. They put them together. If Ant-Man you enjoy because you love heist films, if you enjoy the tech futurism of Iron Man, if you enjoy the thriller espionage elements of Winter Soldier, this is the buddy cop version of that. This is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles Superhero Edition. So it is everything I wanted and more. I'm so impossibly happy and so impossibly grateful. Watch my spoiler review. This was so hard to do a full review without spoiling anything. Do not be spoiled. Enjoy every secret, every surprise. If you take anything from this review, get off the internet. Please, please, please go see the movie. It is so special. Thank you to Shawn Levy. Thank you to Hugh Jackman. Thank you to Ryan Reynolds. Thank you to Maximum Effort. Thank you to Kevin Feige. Thank you to comic books for existing. And thank you to everyone that got us from that point with X-Men in 2000 to this point with Deadpool and Wolverine in 2024. It has been the ride of my lifetime, and I'm so appreciative. I'm so sweaty, it's hot. Please do like and subscribe. Please do leave a comment. I love this movie so much, and I'm so excited to talk about it more and more. Yeah, this was the hardest spoiler-free review I've ever had to do. Stay tuned for the spoiler. Much love, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you've seen it. Spoiler-free comments, please. Please let people enjoy this like you did. Please do subscribe, though, because I want to grow this page up to 30K, hopefully around by the time Deadpool drops. But either way, much love. See you guys soon. Bye.